Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the hub on this 2005 GMC Savana 2500. It's the same process as on the Chevy Expresses, and we're going to show you on the passenger side, but it's the same process on the driver's side. The items you'll need is a 15mm, 18mm, 21mm, and 22mm socket and ratchet, a breaker bar and a piece of pipe for leverage, flat blade screwdriver, penetrating oil, wire brush, 5mm Allen bit, hammer, large C-clamp, white grease, torque wrench, and jack stands.
By removing the wheel cover or whatever wheel trim you might have. This one has a chrome one. Pull that off and then just use your socket and pull or loosen the lug nut covers, pull the center cap off. If you have the benefit, or if you don't have the benefit of air tools, you'll want to loosen the lug nuts with the vehicle on the ground, then jack up and secure the vehicle and remove the lug nuts, wheel and tire.
Turn the wheel so that you can get to the brake. Okay, so on the back of the caliper there's two 18mm bolts. You just want to remove these. It can be a little difficult, so it helps to use a piece of pipe for extra leverage. And we're just going to fast forward as he removes these. Okay, the next step, you want to use a flat blade screwdriver to just pry the brake pads away from the caliper, and it'll allow you to pry off that caliper. Just keep using the flat blade screwdriver, top and the bottom. You can see it's just going back and forth until eventually it'll come off, and you just want to set that aside. Now, using the flat blade screwdriver, you just want to pry out your brake pads. On some vehicles it's going to be more difficult than on others. It depends on the condition of the brakes. In this case it takes just a little effort. And if you have to, you can use a hammer. Just be careful not to damage anything or bend anything. So the next thing that you want to do is there are two 21mm bolts back here that hold on this caliper bracket. So ours are a little rusted, so we spray them with some penetrating oil first just to loosen them up and let that sit for a second. And then using a breaker bar and actually a piece of pipe for extra leverage, we just remove those bolts, and we'll just fast forward here as he does that. When you remove those bolts, the caliper bracket will come right off.
Now use a hammer, and you can see you just hit the back side where the caliper was. Just keep rotating it and let the hammer do the work, and eventually that rotor will come off.
Okay, with the rotor off, you can see there are four 15mm bolts back here that secure this hub and backing plate on. So ours are in pretty bad shape, so we're going to spray them with some penetrating oil and just let it sit for a second. Now again, we're just going to fast forward here, but you can see he's using that piece of pipe for extra leverage as he removes those four bolts. Once you get him started, you can just use the ratchet, but the pipe definitely helps to get him going. Now what you want to do is there's actually an ABS wire. It comes off of this hub here. You just want to remove that 5mm Allen bolt. To actually get that wire off, you may need to pry a little bit with a flat blade screwdriver. It does come out. You can just set it aside for now. Okay, now to get the hub off, you just want to put a bolt back in, just halfway, quarter of a way. Hammer the back of the hub, and once it breaks free, that bolt will actually stop it from flying out. Now you can remove the bolt. Just make sure you have a hold of the hub. When the bolt comes out, the hub will come free. Now we just need to get the hub free from the backing plate. The backing plate actually just slides right off. And you can see here, old hub on the left, the brand new hub on the right from 1A Auto. This one actually comes with a new ABS wire, so we'll show you how to take the old one off. But you can see they're identical. And the next thing you want to do, just take a wire brush and clean the inside of this. So once it's cleaned up, just add a little white grease. Now we're going to show you how to remove this old ABS wire. If you lift this hose up here, you can see where the connector is. So to start off, what you want to do, you can use a pair of pliers or a flat blade screwdriver, and you just want to pry these clips free. There should be about 3 of them. And now for the connector, what you want to do is just pry that hose out of the way, and then you can just pry up the back part of the wire harness. It makes it a little easier to get to that clip, and all you have to do is pry up the tab there and it pulls free, and you're all set. Now to put the new hub back on, you just want to put your backing plate into place, line up your hub, and make sure that ABS wire is kind of out of the way. You don't want it pinched inside the hub or anything, so just kind of tuck it back kind of where it should go, but don't worry about actually setting it yet. And now you can just replace the bolts in the hub to hold it in place. And we're just going to fast forward as he puts them in first by hand and then tightens them up with the socket. Now you just want to torque those 4 bolts to 80 foot-pounds. Now to reconnect this new ABS wire, what you want to do, just bring your caliper down out of the way, and the wire just clips on in all the same spots as the old one did. And you just want to push the connector back together. And then push that back in the front there, and it's all set. Okay, now you just want to put your rotor back on. And you'll see here that we actually have a new rotor. Our old one was in pretty bad shape. 1A Auto sells exact matches of the rotor for this vehicle. And what you want to do is just put one of the nuts on it. This will help keep it secure while you put the brakes back together. Now you can put your caliper bracket back on and replace those bolts. You want to just do them first by hand, And then once you get them lined up and both of them in place, then you can use a socket and ratchet to tighten them the rest of the way. Now you want to just torque those bolts to 100 foot-pounds. Now you can put your brake pads back in. Now for these caliper pins, what you want to do is you want to clean them off a little bit and then put some white grease on them. This will help them so that they slide easier. And what you want to do, pull down your caliper and just fit it into place. And now you can see up here, you want that little gasket there to go in, and you can slide your bolts back in. And we'll fast forward here as he tightens those up with a socket and ratchet. And torque these bolts to 100 foot-pounds. Okay, and we're just going to fast forward here as you remove that nut, put the wheel into place, and then you just want to replace all those nuts and tighten them in a crossing pattern. And again, if you don't have air tools, you just want to lower the vehicle and tighten those the rest of the way on the ground. Then you want to torque those lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds. Before actually driving the vehicle, you want to pump the brakes until they're firm, and then you want to do a test stopping from 5 miles per hour, then 10.
We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.